Hey, love.
Good evening, Beverly. Good evening to all of you. My name's Bill, and I'm living large and loving life in Olympia, Washington. And we have summer here. It is beautiful weather. This is the reason many of us love the Pacific Northwest. People like Bev love it year-round, but we don't talk about her too much. She's a little weird. Today, we're going to talk about the simple life, living the simple life. And I'm going to start with a quote today instead of ending with one. It's by Confucius. Hopefully you've all heard of Confucius. He said, "Life is really very simple. We just choose to make it complicated." Life is really very simple. We just choose to make it complicated. There's a lot I could talk about as far as simple life, but let me start by talking about this little percentage that might give some of you pause to think about. 64% of Americans, excuse me, Canada, 64% of United States citizens, working United States citizens, are one paycheck away from debt, major debt. One paycheck away from losing things. Okay. Illness, car accident, whatever. If they don't get one paycheck, they're in deep doo-doo. Does something strike you as wrong with that? Now, why would they be in deep doo-doo? Okay, they've got their house payment, they've got their car payment, they've got their credit cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, how many credit cards they've got those. They've got the kids' schooling, they're paying for the kids' college, they're paying for, I don't know, new clothes, they're paying for entertainment, they pay for, the best groceries in town. I don't know where the money goes, but the fact is that whatever they're making, it's barely enough to keep them just above water, 64%. That's insanity. And it's more insanity today because our economy is in the toilet. And I've got a shock for you. It ain't going to get much better. If you think that we're going to gradually get to the point where we're in the 1950s again and everybody, we've got one person working in the family and it's la-la land and we've got all this disposable income that we can spend on our little toys, it's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. The cards are stacked against the working man in the United States. And the working man is taking whatever cards he has left and he's ripping them up and throwing them to the wind because he doesn't know what life means. He doesn't know what's important in life. It took me a long time. Please don't think I'm preaching and I haven't lived this. I've lived this. I've lived from paycheck to paycheck for decades. And I'd go from one job where I made $40,000 to another job where I owned a grocery store where I was clearing $100,000 a year, and I can tell you I didn't have any more money saved on the $100,000 job as I did on the $40,000 job, because when I made the extra $60,000, I spent it. And tell me if this sounds familiar. Today, do you want to know what I make? I'll be glad to tell you what I make. Yearly, I make about, last year I made $14,469. And I'm happier today than I've ever been. Bev had a good year last year. Of course, she worked herself almost into a hospital doing it. Now she's not working. Okay. So, together we're making $14,469 and we're ecstatic about our lives. I don't need Einstein to come back from the dead to tell me what's important about that little story I just told you. I can be happy without huge amounts of money and possession. And everybody watching this can be too. But you got to change your way of thinking. If the economy, in fact, is not going to get better, I mean, if you're holding one of those mid-management jobs and you think you're secure for the next 20 years, you really ought to get off the stuff you're smoking. Because you're not secure. Not secure at all. We're outsourcing jobs so fast. We outsource more jobs this year than we have in the past 10 years. And that is continuing with each year. The percentage is getting larger. Do I blame the United States government? Why? Do I blame the corporations? I don't know. They're in it to make money. They found cheap labor somewhere else. That's called capitalism. I wish they'd show a little compassion for their fellow man, but I don't think that's happening either. So whose job is it to take care of my affairs? It's my job. I don't get to sit around and complain and bitch about the government and bitch about major corporations because they're not going to do anything for me anyway, so why would I complain all the time? Why not do something I have control over, and that's my life. And that's my decisions, what I do. I don't feel like working for somebody and making more money so I can buy more stuff. I feel like working for myself so that I can be around Bev and I can have some sort of life that I enjoy. We don't have possessions. Bev, we got many possessions? Not many possessions. Oh boy. Nope. I haven't had a TV in 6 years. Why do I need one? I have a computer because that's what I work on. Bev has a computer because she works on that too. And there's our two, we got a car, and it may be the biggest, dumbest thing we've ever done, but at the time it was the right decision. Now we're thinking of getting rid of that and getting a motor scooter. You don't need stuff. Hello? Everybody thinks, well, I've got to provide for my kids and I've got to have a better life and I've got to have a bigger house. I know somebody who's got 8,000 square feet for the two of them. Why? So they can house their junk. All the other possessions they've got goes into the 7,050 feet they don't need to live in. It's insanity. And the economy is going to catch up with people. We cannot keep doing this. And if you're living by the concept that possessions means happiness, and oh my God, good luck to you. You're missing the point. Don't need them. Your kids would rather see you spend 3 more hours a day home with them than they would to have you work 3 extra hours so you can buy them a new Nintendo. Or the latest, whatever those are, e-readers. I don't know. Whatever new gadget you think the family needs. It's insanity. I get a little excited about this because I don't get it. People are living paycheck to paycheck. They're miserable because they're working so hard and they're not getting ahead. Well, whose fault is it? And why do you need it? Consumerism, the American's great dream. By God, we gotta own, we're gonna work harder, we're gonna own, we gotta work harder, we're gonna own. And it's getting us nowhere. Getting us nowhere. So, Bev and I have taken steps, and the steps will continue. We do not need to live this kind of life any longer. We're not going to be owned by possessions and owing on the possessions. Okay? I love her, she loves me, and we got nothing. Zippity-doo-dah. Except our love. I'll take that foundation any day. Life is very simple. We insist on making it complicated. It's not necessary, guys. Not necessary. I'm all done for the night. It's beautiful outside. I wish you peace and happiness. Live long and prosper. Good night.